Hello everybody, I got a puppy here today and I prepared 3 story times for you. Hope you're happy. I really wanted to make a video, but I didn't exactly know what I wanted to make it about. But then I remembered that it doesn't really matter what I make the video about as long as it has like the right energy. Because then people will actually want to say, like, if I enjoy it, people will enjoy it. So I was like, oh my god, what to do. I know, a story time. People like story times. I like story times. I like talking about near-death experiences that I had because I had too many. It's never too many. Anyways, so what I thought we could do, because I can just talk, I'm completely fine with that, but people actually enjoy seeing something else. Like, people are usually not necessarily multitaskers, but they do enjoy seeing something while hearing something. So me just doing this and talking, people don't enjoy that. So we're just gonna get into the video. Today, it's kind of going to be an ASMR because I am recording with my phone, but an extra microphone which can pick up more things than my camera per se. So today we are going to be applying some moisturizer. I'm not gonna do the ASMR way, but it kind of is going to be, because when I'm not like talking, it is still gonna be there. So we're gonna put this. It's expired. It expired quite a few years ago, but it works amazingly and I can very much recommend this. We're gonna be using this. This is amazing. It's a limited edition, but it works wonders on my skin. And for the ASMR again, we are going to, I have very, very long hair, in case you didn't know that. I'm just gonna be brushing my hair and doing the regular stuff, which I would normally do at night, but last night I didn't do it because I was actually technically registering for university. So I put my applications in last night and it I finished it at like 1 a.m. I know I was only allowed to put it in before midnight, but then I did my essay because whatever. Let's get started. Ooh. I don't have nails. I mean, I do, but some of them are broken, so I feel uncomfortable already. So the first story, all of these are going to be near-death experiences, so if you're not particularly brave, or like your stomach or just, you know, a system can't really handle these, then don't do that. I also gave a title to each one of them. The first one is going to be how I became a zombie. I fell into a grave. Anyways, a broken grave in the cemetery. The second story is going to be how I basically hung myself, on accident by the way, I hung myself with a cord. Anyways, and the third story is how I split my face open by falling into a table head first. If you don't like these, then goodbye. I mean, I wish I could say something else. Go watch another video of mine. There are plenty, literally plenty. I've been doing this for 7 years and nobody watches me. So, how I fell into a grave and became a zombie. Woo. I was about 8 years old, and we were going home. I don't exactly know where, because I don't remember that part, but I know that we had to take the shortcut through the cemetery with my mother. So we were walking with my mother. I think maybe we could have gone to the store, because that's on the route. So yeah, we were going through the cemetery, and I decided that, hey, I'm a kid, I want to run around. So my mother was like, okay, let's do that. That was the last time my mother ever played the chase game with me, so like, you know, just running after each other. So afterwards, no, and ever since then I have not seen her run. She started chasing after me, like, haha, I'm gonna catch you. I was like, hey, catch me, because I initiated the play. The whole thing is all of these are my fault because I'm just stupid. So yeah, we're running around in the cemetery, you know, just going the usual route, but my mother, it's not that much, like 5 minutes. And with running, like 2, except if you fall into a grave. You know, I keep running, and I just, you know, always look back because I'm like, ha ha ha, you know, looking at my mother, she's chasing me, she's like, just, you know, look forward, you have to look forward, dude. And I'm like, haha, no, I'm watching you. And then just like that, as soon as I try to turn my head to just, you know, look at where I'm going, I find myself underground because there was this grave. It wasn't in the path that we were running, just, you know, slightly next to it, which was enough for me to fall in, and it was broken. Somebody broke the grave and it was like fully open, and little old me obviously found the way to fall into that, and I fell in a hole. There I was underground, And it was just dark. And then I remember like, okay, my whole body is on fire. What is happening? I start trying to climb out of the broken grave. I didn't fall into the casket. Like, don't think that. It's just, you know, the like the cement, or I don't know, like the lid basically that was like broken and open. So I did fall underground because there was a hole for some reason. So probably they either did something with the grave, like renovated it, put someone else in there, or robbed it. I don't know. That was empty, so I fell in there and I was trying to climb out. And I don't really remember this part, but my mother told me about this because she was absolutely terrified. She has never liked zombies. Never. And this probably started that phobia in her, because technically it is rational, but it's also irrational because, you know, zombies don't exist. But she's absolutely terrified of zombies. So what she sees, child disappears, and then fully blood everywhere. Blood warning. Just starts climbing out of the grave, be like, ah. I didn't really look pretty, but my mother literally screamed, ran towards me, was like, oh my god, dude, are you okay? And then we went home. And I didn't have skin at all over, mostly on my right side, and just literally everywhere. Because it was summer, so I wasn't wearing like short shorts. Again, I'm 8, but I was wearing shorter clothes because, you know, hot. Every single part of just my body that was exposed didn't have skin on it anymore. And then we went home, we washed it, disinfected it as much as we could. It was my soul left my body a few times, but yeah, and it healed. Nothing really bad happened. Rings off, because we are going to be doing next story is how I hung myself with a cord. I really like rollerblading because who doesn't? I mean, probably people who have the same experience I had or just cannot do it. Anyways, a lot of people like rollerblading just as much as like skating, but you don't have to have cold or here's some cold for you. You don't have to have a cold temperature anywhere or ice. You can just rollerblade anywhere except for grass. You can do anything basically. Anyways, so we had a garden where we lived, and the whole thing had grass on it except for one part where there was like, we didn't park the car there, but there was this little like ramp and then parking space. It was just barely enough for one car, but that was very, very old, and it meant that the concrete was like broken, quite broken actually, and rollerblading on that isn't necessarily fun. And I can't open it because my hands are way too slippery. Nothing is happening. I did it. So this is just that. I don't use it as a lip gloss. I use it as a moisturizer because it has hyaluronic acid and it moisturizes my lips pretty well. I already have lip balm on, but it's almost gone. And I actually quite enjoy the pearly finish it has. Alright, and so the ground isn't really that nice, and the ramp is quite high, and there I am just rollerblading, which is cool. But then my mother was also in the garden. We used to have this extremely long cord, which was broken. That's why we used it. So we hung it across, like we tied it on the fence, and then we tied it on. There was one window which had bars. It was just so you don't fall in there because it was literally on the bottom, like on the ground. It was for the basement. And so we tied it on there. So it went all the way across the garden. And whenever I went down the ramp, I had to duck down because I had to go under the cord. And I always just, you know, also went back, ducked down, went, gone down, ducked down, and everything. Until one time, after like 30 minutes of doing the same things all over and over again, I forget to duck. And I became a chicken, and with the literally the biggest, like with the most inertia you can imagine, I just like race car speed, just right into the cord, and it hit my my neck. So what you basically saw was cord coming. Thank you for the sound effect, dude. You see my legs go up, my neck is still like in the cord, and then just me fall down completely and just stop moving. Now my mother obviously heard that because there was a huge impact on the ground, like the impact sound just like, that was nothing compared to that. And then my mother looks over like, oh my god. And I'm still not moving. For at least 30 seconds straight, I didn't even move a muscle. Nothing happened. My mother thought I was either dead or paralyzed. So she just rushes over and goes like, oh my god, say something. Tried to like get me up, but also not move me too much, because just in case I did hit a spot which could get me paralyzed, she didn't want to move me too much, just in case, you know, like she moves me in the wrong way, so I do actually end up being paralyzed even though I wouldn't have, you know. So she's like, just get up, and I still don't respond at all. Like, she just sees me staring into space with a blank face on my face with a blank stare. Eventually, after like a minute, I come back around. I just look at her and be like, why are you like this? Because I just had no idea why she was so panicked. Like, she was almost crying because she was so scared of what happened. And there was this huge bruise on my leg, by the way, and I couldn't exactly like talk because I almost got decapitated. The reason why it was funny, because I remember the whole thing, and for me it didn't go like that. Probably it seemed longer for her because, you know, it was a panic moment, so she didn't exactly know what was happening, so everything just literally felt longer. But what I remember happened, cord, and then the next thing I remember, you know, I remember just going, the next thing I remember, I'm on the ground, just lying. I was just thinking how I even got here, because it didn't hurt. At that point, adrenaline, that was too much. I'm just lying on the ground and like, so how did I get here? Why am I on the ground? I was just trying to process, because 1 second, again, I'm just up straight, just going down a hill. Next second, literally nothing happened. I blinked and I'm on the ground being like, as if I just teleported, you know? So for me, it wasn't really a big thing. And then when I was just, you know, I finally looked at my mother being like, dude, that's when I started feeling that my whole back, just everything, just imagine yourself up straight, just the whole back side of you, just everything, just was in so much pain. And then I felt my neck as if it was like opening up. Obviously it wasn't, there was nothing on it, didn't open or anything, but it literally felt like shh. That's how the pain spread. And it was really fun, by the way. So I actually didn't like hang myself, but I almost decapitated myself, because if I had gone a bit faster, I would have fallen just at the right angle. I probably would have broken so many things, paralyzed myself, or actually died because I hit my head so hard, or hit a nerve which, you know, actually separated my vertebrae. So fun stuff. Now the last story while I brush my hair. By the way, this is what I'm gonna be using. I really love this. Last story is how I cut my face open. You wanna know how I got these scars? Because I got a lot of them. I don't actually remember the full story. I remember my part, but like a year ago, I brought this story up, and then my older sister was like, that's not even how it happened, because I didn't know she was there. I remember being fully alone, but apparently she was there and did the whole thing with me, and was like partially at fault of why this happened. But I didn't even remember she was there. So my version of the story is that there's music, I'm dancing around, I'm wearing sort of like orthopedic shoes, sort of, and I'm just dancing around, I'm feeling myself, and I'm eating háztartási keks, which is the most basic Hungarian thing you can have, and you know, that's the good life, that's how kids should be. Again, there's music, I'm feeling myself, I'm spinning around, and I remembered that I realized that with that slipper that I have on, it's quite slippery, I can spin around so fast and so efficiently that this is, oh my god, so much fun, that I started doing it faster and faster and faster. And I remember that suddenly I see that the world is sort of going sideways, and then suddenly there is a table in my face. So I just remember just and on the ground, into the table, onto the ground. I'm just like, so where are my teeth? And why is there so much blood on the ground? I remember that I knew that something was wrong. Again, I didn't feel any pain. I just felt all of my teeth go back up to my brain, just disappear. And I just saw so much blood on the floor, and I knew that that wasn't right. So again, I'm like 9 years old at this point. My smaller sister is just a baby. I just started screaming which basically means like uh-oh in Hungarian, because again, I didn't feel pain or anything, so I didn't even cry. I just started screaming because I knew something was off. So my mother was currently feeding my younger sister. She just goes like, why do we have a middle child? And she was like, okay, again, you know, I did something again, something stupid again, and everything was fine. So she comes in and goes like, oh my god, because again, too much blood, and she just puts my sister down and starts screaming for my father to come in here, and they rush in and they pick me off the ground, and something I see is I'm getting lifted up. My father also rushes in. I'm getting lifted up, and I just see even a bigger puddle of blood because there was just such I just see it constantly falling, literally like spraying from my face. I didn't see where, I didn't feel anything. So they start dragging me to sort of, like, my feet weren't really moving, so they were just holding me up and just, you know, pulling me. So we went to the bathroom so they can wash my face to see what actually happened and then take me to the hospital. There was this mirror, sort of like, just like a closet, sort of like a wardrobe, and it was disguised as a mirror, so you could just, the mirror was on the door of it, so you can just light that, and there was this closet. I was gonna open it, but there's a painting here. Whoop, like right in front, like here's the bathroom door, and this is the mirror, and this is the way we're going. As a reflex, while they're dragging me, I just want to go and look, be like, okay, so what do I look like? And you're just wondering, because at this point, again, I'm not feeling anything. I'm just like, okay, why is everyone panicking again? And with that, my father's reflex just pushes my face back, like, you're not looking in the mirror. So even to this day, still have no idea how I look, but apparently very, very beautiful. How else would I look? So we're in the bathroom, and they just keep splashing water into my face. Not touching my face though, but it just keeps splashing, and more blood just keeps coming out. So my parents are getting more and more worried because they cannot actually see the wound. They just see just huge lip, face too, a huge lip, and just blood everywhere. So they don't even know if I still have my lip attached. What they do then is they grab a package of frozen peas, and they wrap it into a cloth, and they just give it, I put it into my hand and just on my face. And then I had to hold it there until we arrived into the hospital in the car. So the hospital is about like 45 minutes away from us. So while in the car, I'm holding the frozen peas onto my face. I'm looking out the window, I'm just like, whew, it's starting to hurt. I'm like, whew, and then this excruciating pain just suddenly went on to me, and then, whew, that was bad. Anyways, it's like 5 minutes later, we end up at the hospital, and they see that blood everywhere, huge thing getting hold on to. My parents are just completely terrified and so pale that you can't even imagine that. And it's just like, we got a child whose lip is missing, and they were like, what? So they got a surgeon to just, you know, look at me very, very quickly. Not a surgeon, just a regular doctor who was able to do stitches. We get in quite quickly, like 10 minutes afterwards. I'm sat onto not the table, I think that's what they're called, like the thing, the bed. So they sat me on there, and the doctor was like, okay, what happened? My parents start just saying as fast as they can at the same time, so the doctor doesn't understand anything. So the doctor asks me, what happened? And they just go like, I found on the table. And he goes like, and my parents at that point were sort of calmed down because they saw that I wasn't losing any more blood, so it was kind of like calming down, so there was nothing wrong anymore. And also they were used to this because they had to bring me into the hospital like every week almost. So the doctor asked me to take my hand and my package away from my mouth, and then what he saw was just, again, like the hugest lip you could ever imagine, and there was bruising everywhere, there was blood everywhere, there was everything, everywhere. The doctor was like, oh, okay. It's like, what kind of table was it? I was like, I don't know, it was quite hard though. And it was actually tud. I'm not exactly sure what it is, like what type of tree it is in English. It could be just oak. Basically, it's quite hardwood. And then I fell face first into that because that's how you do it. What ended up happening while me falling into the table was, here's a table. I'm falling in there, and I fell like this, so I pushed my lip right there, and I put my teeth like so. So with that impact, my teeth went straight through my entire lower lip, creating a huge hole and making my teeth just go up into my brain. They didn't actually go up, they apparently didn't even move at all, but for me that's what they felt like. With that, there was this black hole because I actually bit a chunk out of the table, and it was full, like my mouth was full of splinters. The way I found that out was because the doctor just started laughing. I was like, what are you doing? Because he was just inspecting my lip. It was like, there's like half of the table in here. My parents just face bombed instantly. I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's her, everyone. And so the doctor just keeps taking splinters out for like 5 minutes straight. They seem never ending. And then the doctor goes like, so he was like, okay, so we're gonna have to treat this. This is gonna be difficult to treat, so let me just give you a painkiller first. And I was like, okay, you know, painkiller's nice, because right now I feel my face is falling off. He just grabs a needle, and then I go like, no needles, thank you. I absolutely despise needles. I didn't really appreciate that syringe that he had. He was like, okay, I'm not gonna give you this. Let me just just put some topical stuff on it. I was like, no topical. I think we're good here. I thought we were done. I thought that was it. Because for me, doctor looks at you. You're still not dead. You're good to go home. So then the doctor was like, you sure? I was like, yeah, 100%. I was almost getting off the bed. He was like, okay, wait. Just looks at my parents. We're like, I have to do something. And they go like, I was like, the doctor was like, dude, your lip is open. Like, I was able to literally put my tongue through my lip like that. I was like, okay. No painkillers, no nothing. Okay. I'm gonna sew it up. I just froze. I could not move, and I kept saying no, obviously not in English. The doctor comes in with the biggest needle you can imagine, like literally this big. I don't think I'm exaggerating, but most likely I am, because I was almost half my actual size right now, so obviously this needle was like this needle, but still this is huge. The doctor goes like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna, be nice. I'm gonna use a type of thread that actually, dissolves itself, and you won't have to come back in, so I don't have to remove the stitches. And so I'm like, okay, I can actually go now. But then I kept forgetting that my lip would have to be sewn together because it's still in multiple pieces and not as many as it should be. Doctor gets out the most blue, like literally neon blue thread. That's the bluest thing that exists in the whole universe. And the doctor just starts sewing my lip up without painkillers or anything. So at that point, I think I was pretty calm because I don't remember anything else. I just remember that it wasn't necessarily a pleasant experience, but anyways, he sewed it back together and I looked like a porcupine. I looked amazing, by the way, with that thing. And I think this happened on like a Thursday, because I remember that I should have gone maybe like a Wednesday night, because I remember that I still had to go in the next day for school looking like a blue porcupine. Next day I go in and my parents were like, okay, you know what, you don't have to, go in for the whole day of school. At least just go in the afternoon and get your homework. So I go in, get my homework, and there was this desk when you go, like the reception, yeah. And I just keep looking like this, like, may I please have the homework the teacher sent for me? And I was like, who are you? I'm like, I said my name, look up, I'm like, I can't see you. I'm like, I know. There's a reason why I'm like this. I got my homework and I started going home the next day. I think, yeah. So that would have been a Thursday. I didn't have to go. And on Friday I had to, and we had PE. And I had this beautiful paper and also just, some proof that I just had surgery technically, and then I shouldn't, run around on PE, because in Hungary, in the PE class, at least like 10 huge laps around whatever you have, sometimes around the whole school, sometimes just if it has like a track or something, or just has anything, you just run around. And then I was like, okay, so I shouldn't run because that will make my stitches fall out. Teacher goes like, no, you don't. Go. And at 9, you don't really say no to that, because the teacher said, you go do it, and then you do it. So I had to run around, and there was this other girl in my class who, actually we were at that point very, very good friends, and she just had a huge, a mole, like a birthmark, removed from her leg. So she also had a doctor's paper saying, do not run because she's gonna tear her stitches. And guess what we were both doing that day? We were running kilometers with the stitches we weren't supposed to run with. Anyways, we did that. Eventually, the stitches actually dissolved. And they're mostly invisible. People don't really notice, but it usually makes my lip a bit discolored still, because the beautiful little blue thread never actually truly dissolved. It just sort of melted into my flesh. So even right now, the blue part is still in my mouth. I had so many accidents on my lips, so it's actually a miracle that I still have lips. And mostly on my bottom lip, on my upper lip as well, but the bottom lip is the toughie. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. So you can see the weird color right there. Then you can see that it has like a weird shape because that's where it split and that's where it split the last time. And that is the stitch. So here you can see that when I was small, here it split too. It also split my muscles. You can't see the thing because it wasn't sewn together. It just healed very nicely. But whenever I make a face, it always goes more down because the muscles have more flexibility. So even when I smile, it just does that. So I hope you enjoyed this longer video, and I hope you actually watched it through, and I hope that people actually are going to just click on it because it's kind of clickbaity, but it is true that it was near-death experiences. I mean, the first two. It is a story time, and I didn't do makeup, but I did some self-care, so... By the way, that is my whole skincare routine. This thing. So, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I see you again sometime, and welcome to the channel. Bye-bye!